TJ, you want to try again? Or Neil?
Hey, you got me, Jay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, there we go. Yeah, I was just watching one of your videos, and you seem to equate the Israel God as kind of the church as it supersedes Israel, but I don't know how you arrived at that conclusion based on the text there.
Peter writes what's called a Catholic epistle, and he writes to a bunch of Gentile converts and he says, "You are a chosen generation, a royal priest of the holy nation." Isn't that a terminology that applies to, quote, Israel?
Well, first of all, I'm talking about Galatians 6:16 in particular, but just because
come
Peter
on.
says something's like it doesn't equate it.
He doesn't say like it. He says you are that. The Gentile churches, this is called a Catholic epistle, meaning that it's written to many churches, including Gentile churches, and they are given the titles that are applicable to Israel because the church is the fulfillment of Israel.
Okay, let's go back to that. I'm curious about 6:16 though.
No.
How do you
Galatians 6:16 is saying the same thing as Peter.
Then why is it denoting two groups though? Because the Israel of God, from my opinion, would be that subset of believing Jews within the church.
It doesn't matter whether you're circumcised or uncircumcised. That's Paul's point. That's Peter's point, because in baptism, everybody is a son of God and a child of God and a seed of Abraham.
Right, but that doesn't mean ethnic Israel isn't a thing anymore. It just refers that we're all the same. We're a new creation. That doesn't mean ethnic Israel is done and that the church has superseded it. You see, that's two different concepts.
No, it's not. Matthew 21. Jesus says to the Pharisees and to the Jews, "The kingdom of God will be taken from you and given to a nation producing the fruits thereof."
Yeah, I'd have to pull up that verse, but again, that sounds like it's taking it from those Pharisees, right? Obviously, those Pharisees aren't going to receive it because they've rejected their Messiah. And that nation bearing the fruits will be Israel in the future.
No, the nation is the Gentile church called the nation. The same thing that 1 Peter 2 is talking about. You are a holy priesthood, a chosen nation. It's the same nation as Peter's talking about.
Again, that's pretty weak sauce.
Weak sauce.
Again, I want to go.
How is it weak sauce when he says the kingdom of God is taken from you, and Peter says that the holy nation is the Gentile churches?
I don't know.
You're saying I don't know, and it's weak sauce. No,
that's what I wanted to talk
you don't want to go to these passages because they refute your nonsense. What is 1 Peter 2:9 talking about?
Just because something is like something,
it doesn't. Where does it say like? Where does it say like?
Where does Peter say that Israel is the church? Why doesn't he just say that? Why?
They do say that when James says, I'm writing to the tribes spread abroad. It's the church that is the tribes.
Yeah. Again.
Because 1 Peter 2. Where does 1 Peter 2:9 say like?
That's a fallacy.
No, it's not. Where does 1 Peter 2:9 say like?
I'm not saying it doesn't say like, but again, just because
you just said it. Now you're lying. Now you're lying. Stop lying. You just said like a minute ago, and then you said I didn't say like, so you lied.
No. I'm not saying I didn't say like. I'm saying the text doesn't say like.
You just argued you do. Now you're lying because you said that the meaning of the text is something's like something. But now you're saying, well, but the text doesn't have to say like. Where are you getting that? It doesn't say that.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that just Peter can draw similarities, but that doesn't equate the two. That's a false equivalence fallacy.
Does he call the church of Gentiles a royal priesthood, a holy nation, and his special chosen people?
Yes, he does.
Okay. Are those the appellations of Israel in the Old Testament?
Yes, that's basically.
Okay, so the church is Israel. Thank you. So the church is Israel. Thank you.
No, again, just because you can draw similarities doesn't mean.
Where are you getting that he's drawing a similarity when he says you are that? The only thing that exists is the royal priesthood of Melchizedek. Did the Jews have the priesthood of Melchizedek?
No.
Oh, thank you. So there is no royal chosen nation or priesthood outside of the church. You just proved my point again.
No, again, you're kind of, you have to bring in a lot of baggage to that.
I have to bring in baggage. You're just saying no, no. You're bringing in nothing. You just admitted my point by saying that Jews don't have the priesthood of Melchizedek. Does the church have it?
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about.
I'm asking you that. Right. I'm asking you that. Do the Jews have the priesthood of Melchizedek, or does the church have it?
No, I'm not sure. I need to look into that more.
You don't know what Hebrews says and what every stop interrupting me. Every time Psalm 110 is quoted in the New Testament about the priesthood of Melchizedek, it is Christ's priesthood in the church, and Hebrews 7 says that the church is the priesthood of Melchizedek. So, do the Jews have that?
No.
Then they don't have the priesthood, and they're not the chosen nation. You proved my point again.
Okay, so does that mean that all the promises have been canceled then, or fulfilled, or superseded?
The only way the Jews get access to those promises is when they convert to Christ, as Romans 11 says.
So, okay.
So you refuted yourself and admitted my point this whole time.
Like 28.
What?
Would that be based on Romans 11, 28 through 30?
Sure.
Let me pull that up real quick. Again, I just don't.
Well, do you know why you don't? Do you know why you don't understand this?
No, I'm exploring this idea.
Right, but the reason that, and I commend you for that, but the reason that you're confused on this is because you're not in the church. The Orthodox Church is the only church, so you're confused about this because you're under dispensational Judaized influence.
I don't know about that. I think it's pretty clear, at least from my limited understanding, that, anti-Nicene, a large, anti-Nicene church fathers were premillennial. I think it's pretty clear, and you can chalk it up to.
Well, first of all,
Judaized or whatever.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the fact that a couple of the church fathers were premillennial does not equate to premillennial Zionism, or the idea that they don't have any of the same. Right. Do they have any of the same views on Israel that modern evangelicals have?
No, I'm definitely not claiming that.
Well, so that has nothing to do. This or that church father being premillennial has nothing to do with this point. So that's irrelevant.
Right, but premillennialism kind of there's a distinction between Israel and the church, because there would be a future restored Israel in the 1,000 years.
Can you name a church father that teaches that the church is not the replacement or the fulfillment of Israel?
I haven't read through all the church fathers, but my guess is Barnabas, Irenaeus, or I know
it's Irenaeus, and no, Irenaeus does not teach that. That's a bunch of nonsense. I've read against.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit.
It's Irenaeus, not Irenaeus. And no, he does not teach that the Jews still have a covenant or that they're the chosen people. That's totally false. He teaches that the church. He's a bishop in the church, dude.
No, I haven't read him, but.
Well, then how would you cite him, and why would you think you know what he says? All right, this is retarded.
I have a citation.
Yeah, so you have a quote mine. You haven't actually read him, so you're done. Get out of here. This is nonsense. You need to read Galatians and Hebrews. But before all of that, before you try to read the Bible and decode it, you need to realize who put the Bible together, bro.